is Twitter. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Photo. I am your host, Frederick Van Johnson. Today I'm talking with Larry Tiefenbrunn. He is the CEO and founder of a little company called Platypod, a little company that's doing some really, really big and important things for photographers in the area of how we support that most important thing in our photographic life, and that's our camera. Larry's here today to talk about the inception of the company, why he built it, what his hero's journey story is, and a new product that they have on Kickstarter right now that's sure to shake up things in your photographic life. Larry, how's it going, man? Welcome to the show.
Hi there, Frederick. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, and an honor to be with you.
It's always a pleasure talking to you. You and I only get a chance to see each other in passing at shows every couple of years or so. And we say, hey, how's it going?
I know, and you look younger each time, and I never recognize you.
It's, the joys of plastic surgery. No, I'm kidding. Drink lots of water and laugh a lot. And that's the secret. That is the secret. And don't take anything too seriously, because when you do that, it's here's the other secret, which you probably know. I'm preaching to the choir. The other secret, for me at least, is to treat everything as an experiment, right? So that way, if it fails, it's not the end of the world. It was just a failed experiment, and you learn more than, whatever. So speaking of experiments and trying new things, Platypod, the company, which you started, give us the origin story of the company. What was the hero's journey, and how did you get from nothing to a successful company where you guys are right now?
Very simple. Well, by trade, I'm a physician. I'm a pediatrician, but my passion has always been photography since I was about 15. So we're going well over 40 years or so that I'm doing photography. And I was on a trip about 5 years ago with my wife, Minna, and lovely Bryce Canyon. We walked 1,000 feet down into the canyon, and I was actually dragging this tripod with me. It's a Manfrotto Traveler's tripod, and I had it kind of hooked onto my belt, going 1,000 feet down the Navajo Trail, and then back up. And boy, was that a drag! I had to stop several times along the way. Was really exhausted, and I said, there's got to be a better way. Now I own the twisty, bendy type of tripods, but I never would pack them on a trip because it meant that I would have to leave a telephoto lens at home because that's the space that it would take up. I said, somebody's got to have a plate-like tripod that would fit into a bag and not take up a lot of space. So I looked around and I couldn't find any. There were some prior to this that were done, large plates for sports and stuff like that, but nothing easy and convenient. So one night, couldn't sleep, scratched out a few lines on a piece of graph paper, showed it to a friend of mine who's in the metals business, and said, "Can we do this?" And out came our original product. This is no longer available. The original Platypod Pro plate. Very simple. It had a bolt. It actually had 2 bolts on it, and it was able to handle any ball head, any small ball head that you would put on it, and it did the job very nicely. So we took this to some trade shows, starting with Scott Kelby's Photoshop World back in 2015.
I've heard of
and
that. And
it was an instant hit. Along the way, a lot of people had suggestions. I would like to see belt loops on it. I'd like to have a way to screw it onto things. I'd like to sometimes be able to mount it on top of my tripod like this and just store it there, take it off when I've got to go low angle or into tight spaces. So we took all those concepts, we put it together. We came out with our next model, which was this, the Plateau Pod Max, and I'll hold it up here so you can get a better idea. And we launched that by a Kickstarter, and about 1,300 people liked the idea so much that they backed us on Kickstarter for Max. That's right. And that was really meant to handle large ball heads, kind of like this one, which is a very popular ball head from Really Right Stuff, fine company. Oh. And this would work beautifully with it. Then we got more suggestions and more changes, and we finally had to retire the original model. And back about 2 years ago, we came up with the Platypod Ultra. And this was roughly the same size as the original Pro model. We took off one of the bolts because we found that the second bolt was getting in the way of some knobs with some tripod heads, and we came up with an adapter instead if you want to go down to a quarter 20. And this was great because you could hang it on objects with belt straps. You could put our little spikes into it, and we supply both our models with these spikes. So if you're in rock or concrete, it would grip.
Nice.
And they could be reversed, so you'd have rubber feet if you want to put it on a table. You could hang it from a carabiner. You could put it on with bungee cords. You could adapt any piece of photographic equipment, be it a camera, smartphone, a video light, a flash.
That's what I was going to say, lights. So those look amazing. I mean, yeah, the camera is the obvious play for that, but you could theoretically have a couple of those and set up lights all over the place and not be limited as to where you want to put those lights, right?
So here, this past December, we came up with another little idea just 2 months ago, and these have been taken off like crazy. We did not launch this one on Kickstarter, and this is called the Platypod Goosenecks. Now, others have made goosenecks before us, kind of on the expensive side. We knocked down the price significantly on these, and we decided to supply 2 in a package. You can put a little continuous video light on it, like that one. Okay, this one's from a company called Lytra, who we work very nicely together with. And these can be stacked together, so you can get them double length. Normally, the single length is 10.5 inches. Double length is 21 inches. And you could mount that on a Platypod Max or Ultra and put a light on your table for vlogging. In fact, I've got us lit up with a bunch of these continuous lights with the goosenecks just for this podcast. So yeah, these have taken off really, really nicely. You can pick up a pair of those for $30.
Wow.
And now we're on to the next thing, Frederick.
All right, and that's what I'm excited. I'm excited about all this stuff because I'm always excited to see when people in the photography or photo industry are looking at issues that photographers have and then creating innovative and out-of-the-box solutions to solve that. And you guys are like the epitome of that, right? You're looking at that, okay, where's a need? Let me fill that need and build something. And not only, and I'm tooting your horn here, I know. Not only do you build this cool stuff,
but keep tooting it.
But please don't stop. Right? But the stuff that you build has a very high quality to it. It's not like, okay, this is some cheap stuff from some giant factory somewhere. It feels very well put together and very well thought out. Like the closer you get.
The concept really is, the things that we're creating, I'm creating for myself, things that I would want to use myself with the quality that I would want in a product. For example, you can put on our Platypod Max 300 pounds of torque on here on this bolt, and you will not be able to dislodge it. We even ran over it with a car and we couldn't bend it. So yes, quality is very important to me because I want these things to last, because I respect other photographers as I would want to be respected myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell me about that guy, because like we were talking about before I started recording, sitting in the camera frame there, it looks like something like Tony Stark is building an engine for his car or something. That's what it looks like.
Okay, let's bring
tell me about that
to the frame. Okay, so this is the Platyball, and it comes in 2 flavors. This is the Platyball Elite, and we also have another one, which I'll just bring into the camera for a second, called the Ergo. And as you'll see, the difference between the two is the Elite has some electronics in it, which the Ergo doesn't need. So here were the issues. And again, not to be disparaging in any way against my competition, because I think they make fine equipment here. Mm-hmm. The issues that I had with other ball heads is, number one, I think, except for certain specialty purposes, such as multi-level panoramas, ball heads really should not have the panning base at the bottom because of a fundamental problem. If your tripod legs, and I don't know if you can see this, if your tripod legs are not level, like this, okay? Mm-hmm. And the tripod head then is leveled, that's great for that one shot. But as soon as you go ahead to pan, you're panning from the bottom and the top goes immediately off axis.
Oh, got it. Okay.
So concept number one is we wanted to turn things upside down and put the panning at the top where I believe for 98% of purposes, that's where it belongs.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did here. You can see the ball is at the bottom and all the controls and the body is at the top. This way, if the bottom is way off axis, and I'm going to hold this intentionally way off axis here, yet I level the top. As soon as let me just tighten that up. As soon as I go to pan, the panning is smooth and level all the way around because you're leveling at the top. So whatever is leveled here is going to maintain all the way up to the camera.
Oh, that's cool. So no matter no matter what axis the bottom part is on, or no matter, in other words, no matter how your tripod legs are uneven, you can make sure that you're on the same plane of rotation at the top. Correct. Where it needs to be, where the camera is. Yeah. Why has no one thought of that before?
It has been done before. I can't take all the credit, and that part is not patentable. Arca has done it with one of their tripod heads. NovaFlex has done it with one of their tripod heads. But the issues with those were mostly financial. I mean, they really cost a lot of money. And if that were the only feature, probably I wouldn't have had to bring this to market. But we're putting together a bunch of features, as you're going to see. So that was issue number one, was the avoiding off-axis panning. Issue number two, again, not to disparage the competition here, but this is typical of every tripod head, is you've got this nice, compact body, and that's about the size of a lens. But then all of a sudden, protruding out from it is this humongous knob, which means that if you put another lens in here, you risk denting the lens on the knob, or you've got all this empty space above it. So you're wasting space in the camera bag. And then you've also got a bunch of other knobs on the other side. And on many ball heads, all three knobs, the adjustment knob, the locking knob for the head, plus a tension knob, plus the panning knob, they're all about the same. So when you're looking through the viewfinder, you're fumbling, trying to find the correct knob to turn with and wasting time before you go ahead and miss the shot. So that was an issue number two. Way back when, and there still are some pistol grip ball heads that have a squeeze handle which totally will release the ball head, then you let it go, and then when you release the grip, it locks again.
Yep.
But a lot of photographers found it wasn't a very accurate system, and as soon as you released it, there was often a little bit of drag off, and you weren't positioned exactly the way that you left it. So it was a nice idea, but I think still left something to be desired.
Got it.
So
and how did you fix it? What was the solution?
So we decided to replace the knobs with buttons. And these are the buttons. And you can see the buttons fit right into the profile here. They don't really protrude. And to activate them, essentially you pump the bottom button a few times. It unlocks the ball head. And we go full 90 degrees right, and we go 90 degrees left. The reason for that is we're often strapping these onto poles and trees. You don't know which way you're going to need to go to get it up to a right angle. So here you have it on both sides. And if you want to face straight down, well, that's simple. You just turn this way and then rotate your panning head till your lens points straight down or straight up. So we've got all the angles. We've got all the angles covered. So unlock over here, and then to lock it, we go over here and press the upper button. And if you notice, there's no tension knob here, and there's no tension knob necessary. Because as you're pumping, you feel a little bit more tension as you're going. You get it to just where you need it to lock your camera. It's usually just 3 or 4 pumps, and it's very quick to do. 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. Okay?
Yeah. Is that pneumatic? Is it like a ratchet mechanism, or is it pneumatic?
We do have a patent applied for this mechanism because it's never been done before. The center has a worm gear, a double helix worm gear in it, and this is pressing on certain rods called pawls that press on the gear and get it to turn with each successive press. That presses out spreaders which lock down the ball. And unlike many ball heads which only have one spreader from one side and you sometimes have uneven pressure, we have 2 spreaders on there, so you even lock down, so that basically what you're doing is you're positioning just where you want it, You give it a little tension, make sure it's where you want it, and then just press it a little bit more, and there's no movement from that initial tension to the final lock where you've got the weight capacity that you want. And we're claiming 22 pounds of weight capacity on here.
Wow. Okay. That's so you hit on something. I don't know if you realize it, and you may have thought about this already, but I think you have you said the perfect tagline for that device. You said, "We've got all angles covered." That's it. That's it. You got to use that, Larry. Come on.
We're trying.
Use it in a banner ad or something. We've got all the angles are covered with this device. That is really cool.
We didn't mention one knob, and the other knob that we've cut out is the panning knob. There's usually a third knob to lock your panning head if you have a ball head with a panning head on it. So what we did was, instead of a knob, we've included this in turn. We've included this little thumb wheel. Now, as you grab the unit, you don't have to look for controls. Your index finger is on the locking button, your middle finger is on the unlocking button, and your thumb falls right onto the panning wheel lock. And so you just pull that back, you pan, you push it forward, and actually from lock to unlock is just about a 1 centimeter pull. So that's locked, pull back, unlock, and lock again. And then the other knob that we got rid of, which is on many tripod heads, this one that I showed you before actually has a lever, but we just made a little twist collar here. So now all you have to do is twist and untwist. And if it might be best demonstrated if I just take a camera. Let's lock this up over here. And we are ARCA compatible. I have a camera fitted with an ARCA L plate on there, an ARCA type L plate, and all you do is you twist, and that's it. It is locked.
Oh, good.
About quarter twist. There's also another technique you can use. That's with the panning lock locked. If the panning lock is unlocked, you can twist both the camera and the collar, and then with about 1/8 of a twist, you're locked in, and you don't have to go fumbling for knobs again.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. It looks like a little piece of art too. It looks very well. It looks sculpted. It looks like a piece of art versus a tool.
We tried making it look cool. This was a recommendation of one of my mentors, Scott Kelby, who said, you're going to have to make this thing look awesome, because right now all the ball heads look approximately
alike. They look
alike.
the same. Yeah, I'm telling you, it looks like Tony Stark put it together. I'm telling you, it's an Iron Man tripod head.
Part of the cool is functional too, because you'll see that we don't have that standard, round solid base. Our base is, hang on 1 second there. Lock it up there, and is open, so that you can take a carabiner and just hang it off your camera bag like that, or hang it off your belt. You can't. I don't know that you can do that with any other ball head. I haven't seen one that you can do that with.
Okay, so that's part of that Platypod heritage right there, right?
Just trying to get the features in there.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into the last feature.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Which I think is very important. And that is this. Again, on most ball heads, your bubble level is right over there. Your camera sits on top, and it's usually either the lens or the back of the camera is covering that bubble level.
Always.
So once your camera is on there, you can't see it. At nighttime, you can't see it. If it's up on a tree or a ladder, you can't see it. So we wanted to have a level that's visible from any angle. So the Platyball Elite includes something which has never been done before, and we've just been awarded a patent for this. I'm going to do this backwards, so it's a little bit difficult, but we'll do it. We've included. Let me tone down the light here a little bit. Hold on. Okay. We've included an electronic level. And you'll see what you do here is you just match up the arrows.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
And that's it. When you've got all 4 arrows, you're perfectly level. Or if you want to go a little bit elevated or declined, you can go like that. And if you get the 2 horizontal arrows, again, I'm doing it backwards. So
yeah, it's reversed.
Lined up, you're now leveled horizontally. And unlike your in-camera level, we solved 2 other issues. Number one, if you don't like how your in-camera level is reading, you've compared it with a torpedo level and it's off, you're kind of stuck with it. Our level is calibratable. So you could put a torpedo level on here, or you could calibrate it to your camera, and you just press a button over here for 6 seconds, and it'll zero.
Wow.
And you're matched right in. So that's another nice feature. We have 3 levels of brightness on here. This is bright sunlight. This one is for nighttime, a little darker. Mm-hmm. And that's for regular daytime or indoors. Battery change is very easy. It's not a rechargeable battery, because I hate, I like to be able to leave stuff in my camera bag ready to go. I don't have to have it sitting charged into a wall. Yep. So we use an A23 battery. This is a very common battery. It's used for practically all garage door remotes, many key fobs. You can buy one in practically any pharmacy, certainly Home Depot.
Yeah, that was my number one question. I was going to say, well, Larry, do I now have to charge my tripod before every shoot?
No, you can just leave this in your bag. And these batteries are dirt cheap. If you buy them in volume, they're as little as 50 cents a piece. If you buy them in the drugstore, they'll probably be $2 a piece.
Do you ship it? Do you ship the device with a battery, or
it comes with one alkaline battery in there, and it's simple alkaline, so you don't need any special labels or regulation to ship it by air, as you would with lithium batteries.
And I know with average use, what are you predicting for battery life on that?
It depends on the brightness level, to be honest with you. It depends on the brightness level. On medium brightness, I've had one battery in here, and we've been going to some shows for a month, 2 months, and it's fine. If you leave it on fully bright, you may find that it goes out a little early. It all depends on usage. I think the average photographer will probably get 3 to 6 months usage out of it. It is also going to ship with a neoprene jacket, which will have a little compartment in there. You can store an extra battery in there, so you always have a spare if you need it. We do have a battery warning indicator on here, and that'll tell you when you're below 10% of battery power. We also have some power-saving features. So if it's on for more than 2 minutes, it'll go into standby mode. If it's on for more than 10 minutes, it'll shut down totally, and then you just have to recycle it on by turning the power switch on and off.
Probably standard practice would be just like you said, those batteries are dirt cheap anyway, so just buy a couple of them, and they're tiny, so just throw them in your bag somewhere, and you're good for that every 6 month increment, right?
Correct. I think 3 batteries will last you a good year or so.
Yeah, with really heavy use, right? If you're just an occasional shooter, you're good. Does it have? You said it had power savings features on there. So if I'm not accustomed to thinking about my tripod in terms of it's another electronic device. So if I'm using that device, the Platyball, and I forget to turn it off, and it's in my bag, is there an on-off switch, or is it auto on-off? How does that work?
So yes, it's both. Okay, so there's a master power switch here. You can kind of hear the click of it. Yep. Let me get a light back on there so you can see a little better. There we go. All right, so here's a little master power switch right there, and you can turn that right off. Also, when you're using it, let's say you're using it at night, and you've got it leveled already, and then you don't want to see it anymore, we do have a standby switch, okay, that'll put it into standby mode. So all you have to do is press that on, toggle that on or off.
Great.
If you leave it on for more than 2 minutes, it goes into auto standby. And if it's on for more than 10 minutes, it completely powers down until you turn this off for 2 seconds. You turn it back on, and then it'll power on.
Got it. Is that screen on there a LED or OLED, or is it?
These are actually, we have about 30 bright LEDs inside of here.
Wow. Okay.
It's not OLED. No, this is much better, and those LEDs will last a long time. And you can put this in bright sunlight, direct bright sunlight, and you can see it nicely.
Yeah, that's good. And I'm happy you put the feature on there for it to self sort of power down, or you can turn it off after you've set it, because I'd be concerned about say you're at a wedding or something like that, or in a crowded situation where you don't want to draw people around to oogle at your tripod and this high-tech device you have there. You want it to be kind of in stealth mode a little bit for those situations, and a LED on there would draw attention, so you can deactivate it, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very, very easily. And one other little thing, and I have this on here. This is the Ergo model, because we've had several photographers say to us, look, I level with my eyeballs. I don't need to have an electronic level. Can we do without that? Or they just use the level in the back of the camera. I said that's fine. So we made this other model called Ergo, and everything is the same on it except it doesn't have the electronic leveler. So if you want that, both models also come with a new type of Arca plate that we came up with. It's the world's first, to my knowledge, somebody should correct me if I'm wrong, circular Arca plate. And this is really nice because if you want to put, let's say you want to just, and by the way, it does have a bubble level on it for those people who really just have to have something on there. So we threw that in, but I don't plan on using my own too much for bubble level. But what's nice about this is, let's say you want to mount a phone on here, you just take this, and you don't have to use any kind of Allen wrenches or coins. You just lock it on with your fingers. You put it on the Platypod, lock it in. And the other nice thing is, no matter where your phone holder lands, you can turn it around and adjust it to any position that you want on there.
That is really cool. So let's talk dollars and cents here.
Yes.
So those are the red one. So that's the original Platyball, right? And then the other one. So
Platyball Elite and Ergo. So
Platyball Elite and Ergo. Okay.
The retail prices on Elite is going to be $325 US. Ergo is going to be $249. And between now and March 15th, 2020, you can pre-order one on Kickstarter and save about 20%. For the Elite, you'll save actually more than that. It will be $249. And for the Ergo, $199. And I think for all the features that you're seeing here, I think it's a really good buy. We put a lot into this, and everything on this is original. It's all brand new tooling, everything that we're doing here. So I think the public is getting a good buy on these.
That is really cool. Congratulations, man. That is really, thinking outside the box. So speaking of thinking outside the box, you launched this. Are you in the process of launching this device on Kickstarter? Right.
Correct.
So
correct.
I'm leading the witness here, but how is that Kickstarter campaign going?
So far, pretty good. For a mom and pop operation like us, I think this is going very nicely. We're now at almost 1,400 backers. We found last time, I think we picked up an extra 1,000 backers just in our last 10 or 12 days.
Oh, wow.
And I'd like to see that push over 3,000 if possible. We'll see whatever happens. But we're green lighted on this. We're going ahead. We're moving ahead with it. And now what you're seeing here is a prototype. This is individually machined, very expensive to make, by the way.
I can't imagine.
And our engineer is beating it up, putting it through all kinds of torture testing. We're pushing the weight capacity limits. We're making fine adjustments. We're going to do one more prototype over the next few weeks. And once that prototype is done, we are going to start making molds and go into production. It takes about 4 months to make the molds, 2 months to do the mass production. We expect delivery for early backers who will pay about an extra $20 so that we can fly them into New Jersey from Asia. That'll be available hopefully by the holidays. I think it will be. We've always delivered on time or early. And for regular backers, we're going to bring those in by sea. That takes an extra 2 months. So we project having those sometime in February or March of 2021.
That is beautiful.
But we really appreciate what the backers are doing because they're allowing us to do this without having to farm out the company to venture capitalists or people who are going to boss us around, tell us what to do. We know we can make this right. We can make it with the highest quality so that the customers will be happy and satisfied.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm looking at this video here, or we're both looking at this video on Kickstarter right now that you guys put up. The one of the questions that came to mind is the head fluid? Like, can we use it for video work and panning and that sort of thing?
That's a very good question, and I'll be very honest about it. This is not a video head, so to speak. What is fluid is the panning head. You can pan left and right, beautiful fluid motion, and the customers who've seen this at trade shows, we're going to WPPI next week. They'll be able to look at it and check it out there. So very nice fluid panning. What we don't have is fluid tilt. So if you're going to do a lot of video, you need a video head. It's the right tool for the right job. Yeah. But for occasional video, or if you're just going to be doing a little bit of panning and stuff, it works great. For DSLR video, I think it's fine and ideal. But that's the correct answer.
Okay. And then another question would be so a lot of us obviously have sticks, right? We have tripods. I've got a bunch here. Is this device designed to only go on a Platypod, or can I attach it to, say my Peak Design tripod or my Really Right Stuff or any of those guys?
So the answer is yes, yes, and yes. So there are only two main bolts used in photography. They're actually called international photographic bolt sizes, and they are 3/8 inch -16. That means 16 threads per inch, which is our main one, which is the same thread that you have over here. And the other one is a 1/4 inch -20, which is what our spikes use and which pretty much any camera tripod socket has on it. So this will fit any 3/8 inch 16 unadapted. So I'm just putting it directly onto my old tripod here. Okay, and we have tested it out on the Peak Design. The Peak Design tripod, they sell a $25 piece a plate, which replaces their own tripod head. If you're not satisfied with that head, you can put the Platyball onto there. If you need to go to 1/4-20, we do supply, I don't have it right here, but we do supply an adapter bushing that will increase the 1/4-20 stud on your tripod up to a 3/8 inch. So essentially, we will go on practically any tripod in the world.
Okay, that's good. And then I guess one of the last, if not the last question, is weight. So
okay.
Yeah, so that's a big concern, especially when you're traveling and hiking and all that stuff. Every ounce counts. What are we looking at for this guy?
So this beauty is 2 pounds. We are 1 pound 6 ounces, less than 1.5 pounds for the Platyball Elite, and 1 ounce less for the Ergo. It's 1 pound 5 ounces. It is 5 inches tall, which is a little bit taller. Oops, sorry. That's okay. A little bit taller than this one, but it is about the same height as my old Manfrotto head that I used to use.
Okay. Well, then that's that. So,
but you'll see the width though. The width though is significantly smaller. I mean, if you take that versus that, you can see the difference is tremendous, and that's what's nice about this. It packs really flat into your camera bag.
Yeah, it looks like a radical reimagining of what a tripod head could and should be. So which is I imagine that's what you were going for, right?
Yeah.
So Larry, so you said Scott Kelby guided you into the color scheme of that thing. I'm sticking to my guns, man. That's an Iron Man suit. That is Iron Man. That is Iron Man all the way. So what was the idea, or like were you the guy that came up with the Ferrari red color?
Well, yeah, you know what? I was looking around. I wanted an automotive type of look, racing car type of look. And I was looking around, and nothing draws your eyes more than a beautiful red. And this when you see it in person, it's almost like a blood red. I think it looks really classy. Some people like a simpler color, so we put this one in gray. It is the type of finish on here is an automotive type finish. It's a metallic red paint with a clear coat applied over it. So, it's nice and rugged. And we do supply that neoprene jacket to go over it. So if you are carrying it on the outside and it's banging against things, you'll have the finish beautifully covered.
Yeah, that was another question. Yeah, so it is durable because it looks beautiful, but then, if I drop it off of a cliff, is it still going to look beautiful?
Yeah, you're going to have problems. You'd have problems with anything if you dropped it off.
Come on, what is it, not made of vibranium or something? Come on.
Thank you, Iron Man.
Yeah, exactly. That is good, man. So congratulations. You guys are always working on something. You guys are like the Doc Browns of the photography industry, coming up with these amazing tools for us. So how's Platypod going in all of this?
Platypod's been going strong. We've got a big following. I think we've sold close to 25,000 units and going strong. People love it, and we've got more ideas in the pipeline. We're looking for tools for macro photographers, for vloggers down the line, things that have not been really done well before, and we're going to try to improve on those things as well.
That is great. Okay, so your next steps for you as we record this. We're recording this February 21st, 2020. Next week is WPPI, the Wedding and Portrait Photographers Conference in Las Vegas. So you're going to be there? You guys have a booth set up, or what's your footprint?
Yes, we are. We're going to be there with some friends of yours, also together with Skip Cohen.
I know that guy.
And together with Shiv Verma and with my lovely wife Minna. And we're going to have a booming booth. I think people are going to be real happy with what they see. Lots of excitement at the booth, and maybe even some discounts. We'll see.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm excited. That is really cool. Like, I'm genuinely excited because it looks like you've given a ton of thought to solving some problems that most photographers didn't know they had, or just thought they were annoyances that we had to live with, including the little, relying on gravity for the bubble head and, all that stuff in order to get accuracy. Now you can get pinpoint.
We're accurate to within a half a degree, Frederick. If you look in the Canon manual, I think their levels on the back of the cameras are plus or minus 1 degree. We tried going a quarter. It was just too irritating to try to get everything matching up. Yeah, we had complaints about that. So half a degree seems to be a real sweet zone.
I love it. All right, Larry, thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing with me and in This Week in Photo audience this new stuff whenever it comes out. Speaking of new stuff, what's in your sketchbook for the next product? Not to put you on the spot or anything.
Well, again, we're already great, I think, for landscape and for travel photographers, for architectural. We're in there now. Again, we're I think focusing on the macro line and on vloggers.
Yeah. Now you're talking my language too. All right. Excellent, sir. All right, Larry Tiefenbrunn, thank you so much. You're the founder, CEO, and chief risk taker for Platypod. Thank you for coming on, man. I appreciate you.
My pleasure, and thank you for all your support, Frederick.
You're welcome. Anytime. Take care.
Bye-bye.
This is Twitter.